Are you seeking guidance on your spiritual journey? Need help with a vexing problem? Missing a loved one and looking for answers? Look no further than Psychic Insights, a small trusted psychic service offering mediums, psychics, and spiritual coaching. This service is managed by Hollis Taylor, a gifted psychic medium, astrologer, and a compassionate coach. We are dedicated to helping you navigate your spiritual awakening. At Psychic Insights, we provide medium readings and psychic insight to help you plan for tomorrow and make choices for today. Find the support you need, compassionate grief coaching, and astrological insights to help you spiritually grow and transform. Our professional services include well-managed schedules, recorded sessions, and reliable psychic mediums ready to facilitate your transformational experience. Discover more at psychicinsights.life.
Hello. I was muted. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. It's good to see you. Welcome. Hi, Heather. Good evening. And Aisha, welcome. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, we're rocking it. We got, we we had a little hiccup trying to get started, of course. And I don't know. Sometimes it's usually Facebook won't let me go live. I don't know. And so then I have to restart the whole thing. Hey Tamara, hi there. And Sarah, welcome. And Joe, happy new year. Hi Heather Stern. And Sarah Bowles, good afternoon. And Nikki Chamberlain. And hi Alyssa. Hey Jasmina, welcome. Hi, Deborah. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Welcome, everyone. We will be doing some reading. Hey, Lynette. We'll be doing some readings tonight, and looks like people are starting to gather in the group, like Laura. Welcome, Laura. I'm glad you're here. And Cindy, it's good to have you with us. I'm glad you're here. You know, we're just getting together, and hey, Barbara and Susie and Michelle. Welcome, everyone. So hi, Sienna. Welcome. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. So, I hope everyone's having a great Friday night. I hope you're. Hi, Melissa. Yeah. I hope everyone's having a great Friday night. And, what have I been doing? Working. My favorite thing. No, it's not my favorite thing, but I do enjoy my work in the world. So I do truly and dearly love the work that I've been doing in the world for some years now, actually. I really appreciate it. And you know what I just did is I actually um I actually did this whole I actually made these Oring Incredibox. It's not a Christmas tree. I don't celebrate Christmas. Talking to the wrong person. So, thank you. Thank you, Nikki. It's okay. It's okay. Hi, Melissa. Yeah, it's cool that other people from other countries, isn't it? It's awesome. Yeah. Our group is full of that, huh? Saturday afternoon for you, Barbara, in Australia, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, Summer. Good evening. Little bit warmer weather in North Carolina, huh? Yeah. So, um, so here's the thing is just recently I made some really awesome like beginner guidebooks. Um so like oh, it's okay, Tamara. It's okay if you got to go. So I've made some interesting guidebooks for anyone that's looking to develop their third eye, or if you need like a beginner's guide to your astrology. And there's a special coupon that I only offer people that are watching the live. Okay. And you can get 50% off at my website. Okay, so if you go to divine androgen /shop-2 like that, if you go to that page, you'll be able to, you'll be able to use the coupon to get 50% off the manuals, and they're not that much money. One's like 20 bucks, and one is like $5, or it might be $5, $10, might be 10. And you just use the coupon live 50. Okay, just use the coupon live 50, and you can get anything in the new shop. And there's workbooks and manuals. So if you're looking to study how to read your astrology chart, there's a beginner's guide there. And then there's also like a workbook type of thing that where you develop your clairs, and you do this by communicating with your spirit guides. And this would be really helpful for anyone that's looking to develop their psychic sense. So this is really, really, really helpful for those that like that. Okay. Sienna said I get my taxes soon, so I'll be getting some much needed readings. Oh, well, that's beautiful, Sienna. Melissa, there it is. It's up there. See, it's divineandrogen.com/shop-2. You can also just click on the digital shop, and everything's downloadable. It's not like something I ship to you or anything like that. They're downloadable things, and you can use PayPal to pay for it or whatever. And it's just a few bucks, really. And so I just wanted to like put that out there. I just did it. And so that coupon is fresh, live 50. I just added it. I don't think so, Alyssa. I didn't put, no. But the only way you can get it is by listening to my live here right now. It's the only way you can get the coupon is by listening to my live, or I guess if you gave it to somebody, which is fine. You could do that. I'm just trying to, work on making these sort of digital resources for you that I think could be really helpful if you're working on trying to connect to your own spirit guides or develop your clairs or whatever. And, and they're super simple, and they're meant for beginners. So, it's not, I don't think you'll have that much trouble. And, and you could always use it in coaching with me as well. Like you could, if you do a few things and then you're like, oh, I got 100 questions, we could just have one coaching session, So, so that's the thing there. The shop. So I have been kind of enjoying coming up with manuals or workbooks and things like that. So if any of you have anything like that you would like me to develop, that you think I could develop for you, just let me know. Well, what's funny, Alyssa? You say that. Alyssa said, awesome, nice, thank you kindly. I'm loving all the education. You know what's funny about that, Alyssa, is I'm a Virgo. And recently I've been called to do a lot of education. A lot of people are coming to me for like coaching. And now it looks like I'm going to be homeschooling my grandson virtually, like online. because he just has some special needs that he's very highly intelligent and he doesn't fit into the social structure at school too well. So I'm going to be, educating him online to try to just kind of change the experience of learning. Um, it's a funny thing because Virgos are natural teachers. So I find it interesting that now I'm being brought into as a teacher a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. So Sienna, your 2-year-old, I bet. So it's very normal. See, Alyssa said my late husband was a Virgo and he was always teaching me, and I'm a sponge. Oh, Alyssa, do you have Cancer placements? You just like to learn. So I bet it's because you're got a Cancer placement somewhere. Um, your knowledge of astrology is amazing. Thank you, Brandy. Yes, that is awesome. I agree, Melissa. You know what's really awesome that I was just talking to Brighthawk about is that he's learning astrology. So he gets to pick 2 subjects, whatever he wants to learn about, and I'll teach him. And one of those subjects he chose, one was chickens. But then the other one was astrology. And I was like, okay. So he knows he's drawn his astrology chart a couple of times now. And he knows the main planets, and he works really hard at understanding it, and he'll ask me what things mean. What does Mars and Scorpio mean, and things like that, and I'll try to explain it to him. Um yeah, exactly. Yeah, but Melissa, you could have a Cancer placement somewhere. But Scorpios like to learn too. I think everybody likes to learn. If you've had a good experience, you like to learn. Yeah. Melissa, he's 7. Can you imagine learning how to do astrology? Um can you imagine learning how to do astrology at 7 years old? Can you imagine the pricelessness of that? Because you just would always know exactly what you were supposed to be doing. Tamara, did you get the code? It's live 50. It's LIVE 50, like sort of pushed together, no space. Yeah. I know he does soak it up like a sponge. He comes back and tells me stuff that I said last time. So he's like, Mars and Scorpio, and he's like, sometimes I can be mean. And then this time he said, I can change. And I was like, that's right. You can change real fast. And so he's getting it. Yeah, Barbara, you should absolutely teach her. You know what's mostly priceless about it is when they get to be teenagers and they really start to grow into their astrology chart. I think that that's like the most priceless time because that's when they're supposed to make decisions about their life. They're supposed to like know what career they want to do and la la la, in high school. And I'm just like, why are they not learning astrology? Because the astrology would tell them what career to do. It would give them a better list of things that they might enjoy. And I just feel like astrology is so freaking powerful. Why wouldn't you do your teenagers? I did my teenager's chart. I was homeschooling him when he was a teenager, my son, and I just would I looked at it, and exactly what I suggested is exactly what he's doing. So like he is a leader. So I knew that he would be a foreman no matter what. He would always be a manager, and he is. So now he oversees like the rebuilding of houses, project manager type of thing. Oh my gosh, Barbara, isn't it amazing? Young people. Yeah. Yeah, that is a lucky angel number 1111. Wow, isn't that cute? Yeah. When kids know more, you're just like, man, I didn't even learn that till I was 30. Right? I know. Yeah, I know. I adore that too. That I agree that it's awesome. I would agree, Melissa. I think that schools should bring astrology back. We used to. Astrology actually was taught to doctors, and doctors used it to diagnose health problems for people, especially in the late 1800s and early 1900s. And even in the 1700s, most of our presidents and things like that knew what the astrology was, because it was kind of like a planning thing. Um, so that's part of why, like, all the leaders of the United States, like the guys like, George Washington and stuff like that, they knew that Pluto and the sun were conjunct, or that Pluto was in Aquarius, or not Pluto, sorry, because Pluto wasn't discovered yet. I think it was Mars. They knew where Mars was at the time or something like that, and that's why they separated from England at that time. So there's like little things like that if you look at the original astrology chart of the original United States. So, and astrology has been found all the way back to the Egyptians. The Egyptians had it in their pyramids and things like that. And of course, it's in the Bible when the three wise men, they're using astrology. That's how they knew. That's how they knew that Jesus would be born, because you know. So it doesn't matter in astrology, Melissa. In astrology, Pluto is still considered a planet. It's a body that influences us here on Earth, for sure. Pluto's in Aquarius right now. Have you noticed? So I have. It's definitely happening. So, Pluto, I know that they took it from being an official planet or whatever, but in astrology, it's a planet. Yeah, astrology's in the Bible numerous times. They didn't really like ban astrology until the Spanish Inquisition, and then they started killing astrologers because astrologers knew what was about to happen. And the interesting thing about astrology is it's incredibly accurate. So it's, that's I think that's what scared them. And so because the astrologers could like predict like storms or what was going to happen politically and things like that, and they could see a person's character, or potential character in a person's astrology chart and things like that, they wanted to ban it, and they said that it was evil. And so that's why they started killing astrologers like Nostradamus, who's like I really love Nostradamus. I think he's amazing. I think he predicted a lot of things that have happened maybe through the astrology, but I think he kind of had the same experience that I do, which is when we look at the astrology chart, we have like this sort of download of a story of what might happen. And while he wasn't 100% accurate, he was pretty darn accurate. And I hope to someday be as accurate as he was. Okay, so Joe Jennifer asked, my question about astrology is why birth date is important. Because what happens is, so like the planets are moving in the sky all the time. The moon, all the planets are always moving, some slower, some faster, right? And so on your birthday and time, we're able to look at where the planets were. If you were standing on Earth at the moment of your birth, how were the planets placed in the zodiac from the view of the Earth? That's pretty much a quick, easy understanding of an astrology chart. And it's a snapshot. It's a snapshot of the moment you were born. And that is your map to life. So yes, it's your destiny to some degree, Joe Jennifer, although we do have some free will, but there's a lot of destiny written in the chart. And I would say that your astrology chart is your map to life. And so if you're navigating through life and you haven't checked the map, well, I can't be responsible for what might happen. Okay. So I'm just going to say, check the map. Okay. Like, it's just probably a good idea. Okay. Like, I can't imagine going through life without knowing your astrology chart and without checking it on a regular basis. I just can't imagine. I don't know who or why you would do that. So Nostradamus is so awesome. And he was a really great astrologer. Hi, Carly. Carly Scott said astrology was too legit and they couldn't use it for their own gain. Exactly, Carly. Although some presidents in the United States have used it. The most recent president that used astrology was Ronald Reagan. But I think there's a whole bunch of other presidents, including, I think, Abraham Lincoln. And lots of presidents have used astrology. Like, lots of them. So... Oh, no, Carly. No. I would look at my kid's chart. I looked at my son's chart like a week or so after he was born, and I kept on it, and I would always look at it again and again as he grew up. And when he was a teenager, we studied it together, and I showed him in the chart where he was meant to be a leader and how he would lead others and how he would inspire others. And that's exactly what he does. He's a foreman, a project manager. So, and people like look up to him. Everybody looks up to him. And he was always kind of like that. When he's 3 years old, if he was jumping off the top of the sliding board, so did all the other kids. So, like I would be like, oh my God, they all did what he did. And he sometimes can be, and that's also in his chart, he can sometimes kind of be a little bit of an adrenaline junkie. But I just learned to accept my son. So what was nice about knowing a child's astrology, and I know both of my grandchildren's astrology as well, which is essentially that, essentially astrology can help you discipline the child, can help you form their life, can help you guide them into making good choices. Okay. So I think, so I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how you would raise a child without their astrology chart. No wonder kids are so messed up. I'm just saying. Because we expect everyone to fit in the same box, and we're all complaining that everybody has to fit into the same box, right? We're all complaining that everyone has to fit into the same box and we're all unique individuals, but no one's looking at their unique astrology chart that tells you how to raise a child in the way that they need to be raised. Some kids need more structure. Some kids need more freedom. Some kids need more flexibility. Some kids have some special needs. All that's in their chart. And we're ignoring it. So it seems weird to me. Carly said, she's a strong Aries and I'm a Pisces. We duel all the time, but we also bond very, very hard. Yeah, fire and water. Fire and water. So Melissa, that's a great question. What would be beneficial to look at your child's birth chart is to find out why they passed. And that's called a death chart reading. And so for a death chart reading, what I do is I put the child's chart and then the death chart on top of it, and I look at their life, and it tells me a lot about like past lives. We can look at what they were supposed to accomplish, why they were here, and why they were born, and why they died. All of that is clearly stated in the chart, in between the birth chart and the death chart. And then I can add your chart and we can find out why you were the mother. Why were you the mother of this beautiful being? And why did you have to lose your child? All of that is in a death chart reading. It is a very unique reading that I'm the only person that I know of that does it. There might be one other woman that uses astrology to counsel counsel grieving people, but it's not quite the same because I also use my mediumship during the reading to just kind of bring through extra messages that come through while we're talking about the astrology chart. Then my mediumship will kick in, and that's exactly how it comes through. Does it give info about mental health? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And what I will say is that suicide is not usually destined. So that's where I'll usually see the mental health issue instead. And I'll be like, doesn't look like the death is necessarily destined. I'm not sure about that. But I can see that that they had tons of mental health issues, and that sometimes um has a, I don't know, I think for some people it really opens them up, and I've watched people heal in front of my eyes, and I've had people come back to me a year later and tell me the most priceless reading they got was the medium reading I'm telling you about. Okay, Melissa, it just means that his death wasn't probably destined. I'll look and make sure, but very rarely, like 1 in like 1,000, it's destined for them to take their own life, but usually not. Okay? Usually not. Usually not. Okay. So there was another good question. Susie asked, how would astrology chart work for twins? Well, the interesting thing about twins is that they typically will express differently. And I've looked at some twins charts. And so twins, although they will have similar charts, they're not exactly the same because the moon is moving constantly and no two babies come out at the same time usually. Okay. Usually one comes out and then the other one comes out. Okay. And so that's usually how it works. And so then what I do is I apply that time, the few seconds or minutes that were in between each birth, and that applies to the moon. And that sometimes tells me who will express in what way, how they'll express the same sign. And they'll have some things in common, of course, as you know, and they'll also have some things that are different. And it's just because, like in astrology, Pluto means death, right? But it also means transformation and change. So Scorpio means mystery, but it also means intensity and loyalty. Okay, so sometimes people might express a little bit more loyalty than intensity, or a little bit more mystery than something else. Okay, so it just depends. I'd have to look at the charts, and I can usually figure it out. Yeah, yes, I agree, Barbara. I hate the boxes in schools too. That's why I'm willing to homeschool my grandson. Yep. How do we find that specific chart? Sienna, you mean your birth chart? You can get a free birth chart at astro.com. Yeah. Yeah, I do children's readings. It says it right on my website. Alyssa said my oldest kiddo is an Aries and I'm a Pisces also. We do butt heads occasionally, but our bond is tight. My daughter is an Aquarius, and holy cow, the head butting there. I bet Aquarius and an Aries, right? No, Pisces. Aquarius and a Pisces. Oh, you got, yeah. Oh, it probably also has to do with like your Mars and Venus placements. So, yes, raising children does have a textbook. It's called their birth chart. So, Barbara said I'm a Libra cusp, Scorpio. Yep. And my daughter is a Capricorn cusp Aquarius. Interesting that you're both a cuspy, huh? Yeah. That's interesting. That's interesting. The Scorpio will get along better with the Capricorn part of her than the Aquarius. Aquarius doesn't normally get along with most people. Just no. No, they don't like to. They don't want to. So that's part of the problem. So, all right. Yeah, astro.com, you can get a free chart, but it won't, you'll have to learn how to interpret it. Okay. So it will just be the chart itself. But I can, if you come to me for a reading, Melissa, I will give you the chart with asteroids and things like that, which I guess you can add asteroids at astro.com. But you probably don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, there's other things that come with the reading that I do. Okay. And what I'm talking about is not a reading. It's just the astro. It's just the circle chart with the symbols on it. Okay. That's what you can get at okay. All right. So just gonna take a few deep breaths. Oh man. Veronica said my girls are Taurus and Virgo. They despise the air one another breathes, I swear, but it probably might have something more to do with their Mars or their rising sign, Veronica, because Taurus and Virgos are both earth signs. Mm-hmm. Probably has something to do with something else. Yeah. What about Virgo versus Taurus? We just said that. My hubby and granddaughter are Virgo, and my daughter is Taurus. Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's never just about the sun sign. It's never just about the sun sign, ever. Because you have a rising sign, you have a moon, which controls your emotions. Your rising sign is what direction you're going in. Your Mars is how you fight. Your Venus is how you love. And like then there's nodes, and so just you have to look at the whole chart, and that's why I'm always telling people it is never, I mean, yeah, it's cute and funny to know you're a Virgo and look at your horoscope. That's cute, but it's not serious. Okay. If you want to really look at your horoscope, you want to know your sun, your moon, and your rising, and you want to look at all three and then put all three together. So if you watch my live broadcast on Monday, I broadcast the weekly astrology forecast for the week, which some people here come to. And when you do, I'll go through. So that could be the helpfulness of getting a chart now, is getting your own astrology chart at astro.com, and then you could get my guidebook on my website that I was mentioning a little bit earlier, which is how we got on this conversation. And you can get 50% off of the little guidebook that will show you how to find your sun, moon, and rising in your astrology chart, and sort of kick you off on how to read the chart. And you'll get you can get that little book at that website there, divineandrogen.com/shop too. Okay. Thank you, Jade. Jade's like, mediumship in real life is not how mainstream has made it out to be. I agree. Oh my gosh. Well, Carrie, if you have so much to learn, go download the manuals. Get these little manuals and workbooks and stuff. They're real easy, and it's really beautiful. I want to see you learn. I want to help you learn. Kate asked, what's a cusp? It's when you're right in between two astrology signs, when you were born in between. Okay. Jade said, I've come to believe that if my baby wouldn't have passed away, my life wouldn't have elevated the way it has. I would be interested to see if my chart says the stillbirth was in my path. Yes, I would agree, Jade. It probably was. Yeah, and maybe there's something you learned from that stillbirth, right? I'm sure. Pauline, make me believe. Tell me something about my life. No thanks. My mom has a fraternal twin sister. They are the complete opposite people. And they're not really opposites, Carrie. What happens is they trigger each other because they're so much alike, so they seem like they're opposites. So then they probably like kind of like they're twins, and they probably didn't have enough self-identity, so they kind of like intentionally are opposite of each other. Um so that's, so let me just get rid of her. And hi, Nicola. Hi, Nicola. And Carrie. Yeah, a lot of people said that, So, hi, Shona from South Africa. Yeah, Carrie, definitely check your map. Yeah, Kate. Well, now, I'm an astrologer. I do death astrology, and so I do death astrology, and I do lots of other things too. But I do astrology death chart readings, which is where I like check out the death of your loved one, which is a really powerful reading, can help you heal. So Carrie said, I definitely will. My boyfriend wants an astrology reading with you one of these days. I'm super excited for him. Probably be really good for him, Carrie. And astrology is really down to earth, and it really helps you connect with who you really are and what you're meant to do here. So that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty. So okay. So oh my gosh, you guys have lots of questions. Yeah, so many aspects, each unique, just like humans. That's right, Alyssa. That's right. Even twins have slightly different, they might be similar, but they're still different. And Barbara said, crazy about being on a cusp. My daughter has traits from both signs. Exactly. She loves people, Capricorn, but also hates people, Aquarius. Well, Capricorn can sometimes hate people too. Okay. Melissa said we all just did our ancestry. Now we need to do our astrology. Melissa, a woman, she had like I think it was 4 kids. She lived with her 4 kids, her husband, her mother, and her brother-in-law. And she had me do everybody's chart. And then she paid me for 2 hours, and I was up on her big screen TV in front of the whole family, like gathered around on a couch. And I just started channeling things about each person and things that were their strengths and things that were challenging for them and how everybody got along. And people were laughing, and it was a lot of fun. It was a very, very interesting way to do family astrology. Okay, it's okay. You can ask all the questions you want. Susie said, sorry for another question. I was born on February 20th. Some charts say I'm Aquarius, and that's because you're on the cusp of Aquarius and Pisces there, Susie. That's why. You're on the cusp. That day, I'm pretty sure, is the exact day of the cusp. So you're right on the day that it changes from Aquarius to Pisces. Okay. And so each cusp has like a name for it. Okay. And so you're an Aquarius Pisces cusp. That one is How to Live Being One. Interesting. That's what I'm seeing. I thought it had a name. I used to have the names of them all down, but not so much now. But it's an Aquarius cusp. Your Aquarius Pisces cusp. That's why. So you should always listen to horoscopes for both. Plus, you should find your rising and your moon. So then you have to listen to 4, where everybody else listens to 3 of them or reads 2 of them. So Veronica said, okay, so the sun sign is what everyone seems to focus on. Exactly, because that's the only thing you know. And the moon is responsible for tides, among other things here on Earth, including our emotions, because we're like, 60% water? As humans are mostly water. Does the moon sign have more pull, say, than our sun sign? It has more pull on your emotions. The sun sign is what I meet when I meet you in the first 15 minutes. That's who I meet, is the sun sign. When I get to know you, I meet your rising sign. And I might sense your rising sign from afar, depending on which one it is. And then after I get to know you, and if we're in a relationship, the moon sign's definitely coming into play, and probably Venus and Mars as well. Okay, so those are called the personal planets, and they play a huge part in who we are and how we interact with each other. Yeah, Sienna, I can also tell you about your future. That's called transits. So, like, if you go to my website to book a reading, it will say astrology reading with transits. And Barbara said, so you're on the cusp, so you have the traits of both signs. That's right, Barbara. Good job. Thanks. See, look, Barbara's educating people now. Barbara didn't know anything when I first started talking to her. And Sienna said, I agree with her with my husband in passing. I've been way more open to spirituality. It's so amazing how much I've been growing since I lost him. Yeah, and you know what, Sienna? If we looked at the death of your husband, it probably shows in the death astrology. Probably shows that you'll have some sort of spiritual awakening because of his death. Yep. So, yep. Being more connected to the earth is a way healthier way of being, in my opinion. I think people that are not connected to the earth, we have some serious issues. Okay, your date of birth is 1/17. Okay. All right. And then Tracy said, I thought I was on the cusp, but I'm not sure. How do I find out? My birthday is March 21st. It's on the cusp. Yep. It's just, it's like the couple of days around, usually like the 19th. It's like usually like the 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd of just about of every month. It's when one zodiac, when the sun moves from one zodiac to the other, when it's within about 3 or 4 degrees of that. So best way to look is to see how close you are to the end of the dates for March 21st. So like if you search March 21st zodiac, right? If you search March 21st zodiac, you're going to get Aries, right? But what you'll look at is if you look at the dates for Aries, so the astrology dates for Aries, it's actually my granddaughter's birthday too. Did you know that? It's actually March 21st to April 19th. So you can see how it's like the first day of Aries. So you would be an Aries Pisces cusp. Yep. There were some cool memes out with them for a while there, Barbara. My late husband was a Capricorn Aquarius cusp, and he was so confusing. I like cuspy people. I find them to be more interesting. Yeah. Us cusp people confuse ourselves and stress ourselves out too. That's probably true, Susie. That's probably true. And then Melissa said, is that why they say so many babies are born on full moons? I don't know if that's true, Melissa. I don't know why they say that, but it could be because of the moon. Sure. Could maybe make the baby be born. Sure. January 20th, my daughter's birthday. She is a confusing one. Yep. Barbara Previck, he was January 19th. Okay. I already answered it, Tracy. Hi, Mamoni. What does it mean if you're on the cusp? It just means that you have both signs traits. That's all. It means you should listen to both horoscopes. That's all. Yeah, so Bianca, since the sun is at 28 degrees Sagittarius, it's about to cross over. So as a result, it's about to cross over into Sag. Brighthawk actually has a similar placement. So that makes you a Sagicorn. Okay. um. Oh, Carly, and it probably depends.
Prophecy.
Breadhawk says that the Sagicorn is the cusp of prophecy. She remembered hers. Carly, that may have also had to do with the astrology, because remember, your astrology changes every day. So if I do an astrology reading with you, would I have multiple moons and suns? No. No, Tracy. No. Mm-mm. You would have one sun, and it might be on the cusp of Aries and Pisces. That's all. My granddaughter has the same thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My daughter's an ER nurse, and she swears by it. That could be true. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she just sees a lot of them in the ER, right? Try being a Leo Scorpio. Oh my god, I think that cusp has got to be a little bit challenging, just because Libra is very about balance, and Scorpio is very intense and mysterious, and I don't know, and Libra is none of those things. So and Alyssa said something about barometric pressure changes on full moons, which can cause a lot of health changes. At least some of the studies I've read, as well as some of my illnesses, line up perfectly with each full moon. Alyssa, you may also have Cancer placement. That's the second time I've said that to you. Do you have a Cancer rising, Cancer moon, something? Cancer? Do you have Cancer in the 6th house? So, because if you have a Cancer placement, wherever Cancer is, every time the moon moves, you'll feel it in that area of your life. So, especially since you're talking about your health, that makes me think it's in the 6th house, which is the house of health. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, all right, you guys. So, I hope that some of you check out these little manuals, these little workbooks, and I hope that they work out for you. Give me some feedback on them. Let me know how they helped. I've just been developing them and just trying to get some real basics out there. Right. Michelle said what you're saying about Aquarius explains a lot. Me and my dad are okay as long as we're not around each other for too long. I'm a Leo. Yeah, well, Leos are okay with other people, but Aquarians not. They don't usually. They need a lot of alone time. Yep. She said no Cancer in my big 3, but I do have a Cancer placement somewhere. I'll have to double check. And Alyssa, I'm wondering if it's in the 6th house of health. Huh? Yeah. Hi, Christy. Scorpio rising. Double Scorpio, huh? Libra moon. You go to that link, Tracy. Check it out. Look. Go to that link right there. Get 50% with the coupon Live 50 off anything in Hollis's new shop for workbooks and manuals. See? You see it? Go to Divine Androgen /shop-2 and you get 50% off. They're not very much. They're under $20. Well, they're like $20 and less. So, okay. Hi, Lynn. Welcome. Veronica, you have Cancer in the 11th. So you probably meet people based on the moon. Be careful who you meet on the full moon. The 11th house is a house of friends and people that have power over you. Okay. So that would be like your boss, be your parents. Yeah. Capricorn's in the 6th house. So where's your moon, Alyssa? That's the ruler of Cancer. I know, Sienna. I'm laughing about that now, and I'm trying to get to it, but I'll do at least a couple readings. Yeah. I appreciate that, Sienna. Thank you so much. I appreciate you saying all that sweet things about me, and Yeah, Alyssa. Alyssa, you know what's funny about that? You know what's really funny about that? The 12th house, you don't see it, other people do. Ah! Okay. Oh my gosh. Lynn Piccola, go to my website and get this guide. Get the how to find your astrology chart and how to get started reading your astrology chart is at that link right there. That's what we're talking about. Okay? If you go get that, it will help you get started, Lynn, and help you get out of the gate. Okay? Yeah. So, Moon in the 11th with Chiron and Taurus. Oof. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that explains Alyssa. That explains it. Okay. So let's take a minute for me to I'll leave the link up and you guys can see it says live 50. That's the coupon code you use. You get 50% off. So, okay. So for a couple bucks, you can get that astrology manual and it tell you exactly what to do. Okay. All right. Bianca's got that Cancer rising. Bianca started to figure it out. She's like, pay attention to the moon, right? If you pay attention to the moon, you will do yourself lots of favors. Okay? I call upon my spirit guides in the here and now. I call upon all of my spirit guides, all beings around me, and any energies that would like to come through me. Please step forward now. As I open the doors and open the gates for you to step forward, I hope that you will help me to bring messages through from the other side. Help me to bring the best and most accurate messages I can get. Help me to understand and interpret them to the best of my ability, and help me help others connect to their loved ones to bring closure and grief. And please help me to offer this as a gift to the group. Thank you. Thanks, Tracy. I appreciate that. So, all right. So I have middle-aged to older male. I'd call him more middle-aged. So like middle-aged, 40s-ish, okay? Maybe 30s, but in the middle of life. I feel like at least from your perspective, he died young. Okay. He might have been 50. He's saying I'm older than I look or something. Um So he's saying I'm older than I look. Isn't that funny? And he's kind of he's not. I wouldn't call him athletic. And I wouldn't call him very large. I'd call him a bigger guy though. He also seems really kind of happy. He was a fairly pleasant being. He was very these are always my favorite types of people. He's very like loving and encouraging and fairly positive guy. And so your family, I feel like you and there's other people in the family as well that really, really miss him because of how positive he was. He also feels like kind of like the glue of the family, if you get what I'm saying. Like he tended to keep everyone together just because he was fairly positive to be around and people generally wanted to be around him. And he's very positive. He's a little bit funny too, like I said. He says, I'm older than I look. So by the way, Jade, that's not strange at all. And the fact that you want to listen to my voice, no problem. Do you know I have guided meditations with Bright Hawk? I hope you listen to them. So take time to listen to her to the so I'm hoping that you'll, take time to listen to the to all the guided meditations, because if you do that, then you can listen to my voice. Okay. So it's not weird at all. That's why I do guided meditations. That's why I do that. Okay. Definitely young. He's saying that again. I'm definitely younger than I look. So he must have had, I'm sorry, he's older than he looks. So he looked younger than he was. So he must have had a young looking face. Okay. A little bit big, but not real big. I'd say a little bit chunkier though. And he's making jokes. He's like, yeah, I wasn't any kind of athlete or anything. Like, he's kind of like flexing his muscle and laughing and things like that. Definitely very funny. He said that sometimes how can I put this in a good way that he wants me to say it? Okay. Sometimes a lot of times, he had some habits that didn't serve him so great. In fact, they are related to the reason he passed, he's saying. So I'm guessing it's in the heart, but he's so polite that he doesn't want to make my heart jittery, which is, I appreciate, since I was born with a genetic heart condition and it can sometimes make me nervous. So I think he might have like smoked and drank, or ate. He ate in a way that wasn't always the greatest, like, cheeseburgers and stuff. Um, he wasn't like super healthy or anything. And he's kind of he's making jokes about it. Okay. And he said that he just lived life to its fullest, and there was even, I feel like might have been his wife or a woman, not sure if it's his wife, but a woman constantly, not constantly, but a lot of times telling him that he should quit doing those things, but he passed because of them. So does this still match? A lot of people are still saying, sounds like my dad, sounds like my dad. Yes, Sienna, I said he was middle-aged. And like he keeps saying, well, he's older than he looks. Okay. So this still matches for all of you. Good gosh. Let me make sure it's one spirit. No. Okay. All right, I got that right away. Okay, so I have more than one spirit. It seems like, let me start to focus in. Can we just have one, please? Okay. So one of them is very, very tall. He's kind of a big guy. And okay, he's oddly in a weird costume. I think this might be a Halloween costume. And I think he has like a wrestler's belt on, or some sort of big, huge belt buckle on. Who had a big, huge belt buckle? And it almost feels like a costume or something that would have been funny. Because it feels like it could be funny. And he's got this huge, I mean, it's just massive belt buckle, and so it almost feels like one of those wrestling, when they win a championship, they get those wrestling belts on. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It could also be a belt buckle and he's just like focused in on that part of it. But it just feels like a huge belt and he's kind of laughing about it. It seems to be a costume or something he did. So Does that match all of you guys? Like, it looks like it's matching for so many people. Does anyone know this particular guy that I pulled through? This is the first guy that stepped through. And like I said, he's pretty tall. And he's pretty he has a big personality. He's like, ha, like that. Like, he's stepping forward with the big belt buckle and he's like, ha, look at me, type of thing. Okay. So Christy knows what I'm talking about, but it doesn't match. Okay, thanks for being clear about that. Okay, so Melissa, like, your dad's might come through because I just pulled one spirit off. The first one to step through is this guy who's real clear. He's kind of on the tall side. He's kind of a big guy, and he has a big belt, on, and there's focus on the belt buckle area. And okay, Alyssa. Sounds like my dad. He was 50 when he died. Heart issues, alcoholic smoker, and a big foodie. Okay, great. And he was 6 foot tall and heftier, very comical. Belt buckle could possibly match when he was younger. Okay. And it sounds like his personality was big like that. Okay, but now we have two people. Well, Susie, I could just be misinterpreting the costume thing. Okay. That could just be my mistake. Okay. But the belt buckle's definitely there. He's definitely highlighting. He's like kind of going like ta-da to the belt buckle. Okay. Like he's pointing at it. So it seems to be pretty important to him. So I don't know what that's all about. But okay, let's keep going and see if we can figure out if it's Alyssa or Susie. Okay. Nah, he's showing me a very cute couple. A very cute couple. He was paired with someone, and I feel like he left his soulmate behind. He left his soulmate behind when he died. And he's learned his lessons. So he's saying, okay, so he's saying, okay. Okay. So a couple people have said, okay, this doesn't match anymore. So, Alyssa, when your dad passed, did he leave your mom behind? Were they a very cute couple? Like, he's showing me them pressed up face to face, very, very close. Like, he's showing me two bodies pressed very close, like side by side, like this, like almost like you couldn't rip them apart. And they seem like a very cute couple, and their heads are leaning into each other. And there's a big heart coming out of the middle of it. Susie. He was my twin flame, and he died 7 months after diagnosis. A big shock for us both. Okay. Alyssa. Yeah. All right. I think we're with Susie. He said that it would separate it. I kind of said that out loud, hoping that he would give me something that would separate you two. Okay. And so, that's what he's showing me. He's like, I feel like he left you behind, Susie, and he feels like, are you sure he's just your twin flame? Are you sure he's not your soulmate? I mean, have I ever looked at your astrology? Just saying. Because he's saying you guys are soulmates very clearly, but I have a different definition of soulmates and twin flames from my guides. We interpret it a little bit differently. So, but anyway, he's saying you guys came from the same soul, and he had to die first this time, and he's sorry. So, but he learned his lesson, he's saying. And she said that he did call me his soulmate. Yeah, see? Yeah, Susie. I think he might be your soulmate. It doesn't mean that there's no one it doesn't mean that there's no one else out there for you, because there's definitely some twin flames, and sometimes we have more than one soulmate because it depends on how many times the soul split. The soul splits, and that's what makes a soulmate. It's two pieces of the same soul that have to come back together and like live a whole life together, and then they die together. And when they die together, that's when the soul is reunited. Okay? Um and I'm pretty sure Susie, and I'm getting chills with you, Susie, so that usually means yes. Okay? So let me just see what he has for you. No, he's showing me like I think it's a Ferris wheel. Why am I seeing a Ferris wheel? It's something romantic on the Ferris wheel. Okay. I think it's a memory. Um yeah. I think it's a memory or something, Susie. Did you guys share a time on the Ferris wheel? Did you guys like ride a Ferris wheel or something? So it feels pretty important. Then Susie, if you feel like that, it's probably your soulmate, sweetie. He's not your twin flame. He's your soulmate. If you feel like you can never be with anyone ever again, you feel like you lost a piece of you, because you did. She's saying no, we didn't. You never went to. I'm not sure you're on the Ferris wheel, but it feels like you're at a carnival. There's a Ferris wheel in the background with all the lights. It's nighttime. There's lights all around, so it feels like a carnival. Feels like there's a lot going on. And now I'm seeing a stuffed animal. Did he win a stuffed animal for you? It's cute. It's sweet. He's saying it's very cute. Okay. So I don't know what that's about. Feels like a carnival. Okay. Maybe you'll remember it later. Okay. He just wants to say that he just wanted you to know that you were right. That's what he wants you to know, that you were right. She said no. He hated crowds and carnivals. Huh. Wonder why he would be showing me that. Okay, Susie. I'm seeing it from a distance, so I don't know. Anyway, there's something about it. It seems like you're seeing it from a distance, and I don't know what that's all about. But the message that he has is that you were right, which I said a little bit earlier. Okay? So that's his main message, is that you were right and he should have listened to you, and he's sorry that he didn't. And that was his sole lesson here on earth. Okay? So okay. Sarah Bowles, what else matched though? Sarah, what else matched? Let me go back. My husband was 6'2", skinny, and what he thought was a funny sense of humor. He smoked and drinking. He was only 52 when he died. Okay. Yeah, I think actually, Sarah, I think you might be right. He's much thinner than the other man was. And he's sort of like, he's surprised in his own ability. He's he's surprised that he won. He's actually surprised. Like he's stunned. And he's kind of laughing about it like it's funny. Okay, like he's making jokes about it or something. So that's interesting that we move over to you now, Sarah. So Sarah, I'm pretty sure your husband is with you as well. Let's see if he has a message for you, okay? He's behind you. You're sitting in a chair. You're sitting in a chair and he's behind you with his hands on your shoulders. And he feels like you dismiss it or something. He's touching you in your home, in your own space. and you sometimes feel his presence, but you're dismissing it. So he wants you to stop dismissing it. Could you please? Okay. She said, yeah, it sounds like him. It was a family joke. The whole winning the stuffed animal thing is a family joke. Okay. hmm So he's just saying that he puts his hands on you and you don't always sense him or feel him, and that you dismiss it, or you're not sure if it's real or whatever. But he's saying he touches you. He's standing over top of you. I can see you sitting, and he's sort of standing over top of you. And then I also seen you on a bed or something. So and he's beside you. I see lots of different situations in which he's like right next to you. Okay. So Sarah, you just need to know that. Okay. So just go back to the group real. Huh. So Jade said, my stepdad and mom got married on Valentine's Day. Yes, Carrie, a relative can be a twin flame. A twin flame are opposite souls that come together that make the world a better place by being together. Jade Alyssa, my stepdad used to dress up as a wrestler to play with my brother. Okay, so hold on. I just have to go back and find all of Jade's because I felt like the spirit that had the wrestling belt came back and said that he wanted to be I had to look in the group, he said, and that's what I did. So I looked in the group and I had missed Jade's messages. She said my stepdad was 6'3", and then Jade said my stepdad used to dress as a wrestler and play with my brother. Yeah, I think we're on point here because now he's back, Jade, and he's excited now because you're hearing him. My stepdad and my mom got married on Valentine's Day. Yep. Yep. Okay. So hold on a second, Jade. Just hold on a second, Jade. Let me see what else he's saying. He's kind of funny. he said, well done, like that. He's like high-fiving me. He's like telling me that I did a good job. to me. Okay. Like, anyway, it's cute. It's funny. Okay. Um, okay. He says he's he's a fairly pleasant guy, Jade, from what I can sense. He's fairly positive, encouraging. Um, so uh that might explain why he's a little bit harder to hear, Jade. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to hear people that are a lower vibration than me, but I can usually hear them because I've walked there. I just have to focus in on them. She said that he was my favorite person in the entire world. When he left the world, I thought he hated me. He did not hate you. He took his own life, and I never understood why he left me. He said he hated himself. You didn't know that, but he did. He actually had a lot of self-loathing. He says it comes from his childhood. He also had an addiction. So he's saying there was an addiction. I don't know if you know about that. She said that he protected me from my world, And when he left, it shattered my world. He protected me from my mom. I get it. I had a stepdad that did that for me too, Jade. But he's saying that the reason that he took his own life had more to do with the it had actually more to do with his own self-hatred, his own self-loathing. That's also why he protected you from your mother. And I feel like he his mother, he's saying he married his mother. So I think the way your mom behaved triggered him because that's how his mom behaved. But also he was in some sort of addiction. Okay? So I feel like that was his light that you said. So okay. He was addicted. Okay. So Jade is saying I always blamed my mom for it. He was addicted to a lot of things and my mom's addiction made it worse, right? But he's saying that he married his mom. So that your mom must have acted like his mom. So he had real deep compassion for you. And that's not unusual for people to do that. Like if you have unresolved trauma, you'll marry someone just like the person that traumatized you as a child. Often. It's just it kind of happens. So, and he's saying that's what, especially if you're lost in an addiction because you don't even know which way's up, So, yeah, he's saying he was addicted to particularly drugs and alcohol, and also I think he even had like a sex addiction or something. So he just did whatever he could to get away from things. Okay? So he wants you to know that it wasn't your fault. And it definitely wasn't your mom's fault. It also feels like your mom and him were soul contracts. They were supposed to sober each other up, but of course he said he quit before he got a chance to. So he was supposed to sober up. They were supposed to break up and sober up, but of course they didn't. So okay. So he is with you. No, he didn't leave you forever, Jade. I think sometimes when spirits take their own life, they can sometimes be a little bit harder to hear or feel or sense. I don't know why, but I do know why. It's because their resonance is low because of the way they left the world. Because we should never take our own lives. It lowers your resonance. It's one of the lowest resonances that you can have. And so when you take your own life, you leave this world, you tend to have a lower resonance. And I vibrate way up here. And so sometimes it's harder to hear the voices down here, if that makes sense. But I can, because I used to be suicidal. I struggled with suicide myself and mental health problems for most of my first 30 years. So he just wants you to know that he's with you. I'm sorry that your mom found him. Sounds really hard. Sounds like a really hard thing to deal with. Like, it's sort of the thing about suicide is that the person's only thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about who got left behind and who gets traumatized by their death. And Jade said that I resented Mother's Day until I had my son at 17. I felt like my son was brought to me to give me a new light to that day. Good, Jade. I would agree with you on that. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah, and that's true, Carrie. Sometimes spirits don't want to talk in front of strangers. And Jade, he doesn't have a whole lot more to say other than that. Was he kind of a private guy? He might have been kind of a private guy, too. So pay attention to that, okay? So just hang in there, Jade. Okay, so let me just see if there's any more guys that really want to come through. Someone was in an accident. One of these guys. I think it was one of the guys. Was in an accident. Who was in an accident? Um, feels like an accident. Could be like a car accident. Um, hmm. He's just saying, I died really fast. It was an accident. But I don't think he took his own life or whatever. I think he got in an accident. Okay, this is vehicles. Now I'm seeing a vehicle. Okay. Did somebody die in a motorcycle accident? Motorcycle accident? This is a guy, younger man, youngish, middle-aged man. Um, he died in an accident. Uh, this man might be in his 30s, 40s, maybe 50, but if it's 50, he's just like 50, 51. But he's probably more like 30s, 40s. No, Tracy, he's very clear that he died in a motorcycle accident. Um, well, wait a minute. Let me just check again. Sienna, the very bad car accident, did it involve a motorcycle and a car? Was it a couple of them? A couple vehicles? Because I seen a car, then I seen another car, and I think I seen a motorcycle or a bike of some sort. Um, he's saying he died very fast. It was very fast. Sienna, your brother-in-law died very fast, he said. It's definitely your brother-in-law. And Tracy, I've communicated with your husband before, but he's here. He's here. And he's just like, no, not me. Like that. He's kind of funny. Tracy, he's kind of funny because he's saying that way. But he is leaning on a motorcycle, Tracy. He's kind of like leaning up against one. I think he's smoking a cigarette on the other side. But of course, it's not really a cigarette, but that's probably the way he looked when he was here, right? So he's like, it's not me. He's very funny. And he's like leaning up against the bike and he's smoking and he's kind of smiling and leaning back like he's, oh my God. Okay. Alyssa, let me just connect with John. Okay. Let me connect with John. Because I sensed John. Oh, yeah. We got John. Okay. Chills. I got chills real fast. John's saying, yeah, he couldn't breathe. He said the carbon dioxide took him before the fire did. Okay? So you should know that, Alyssa. The carbon dioxide took him before he was passed out by the time the fire burned him. Okay? He was out cold. Okay? He didn't burn to death. He actually got smothered first. Okay? Probably the Tracy, your husband's funny. I think he's just hanging out watching the game. That's what he just said. I'm hanging out and watching the game. It's like watching a football game or something to him. He's comparing it to that. So Alyssa, he's saying that the air made him pass out, so he was out when that happened. Okay? He couldn't get oxygen. Oh, and he also hit himself on the way in. So I guess hitting the house, he may have also like hit his head or something like that. And so he's saying that he didn't burn. He just wants you to know that. Um, so just so you know that, Alyssa, like he wants you to know that he was also passed out because he hit his head. So I don't know if he needs soot for the carbon dioxide to make you pass out. Like carbon dioxide, I don't know that that's necessarily going to put soot in your lungs. Does that make sense? So I don't think he burned to death. I think that's actually a sign that he didn't burn to death, like physical. Because just because you're breathing in carbon dioxide doesn't mean you're burning in soot. Carbon dioxide is, it only takes a couple minutes, a minute or two for it to knock you out. And he's saying that he first got knocked out because he hit his head on something on the way in, like in the crash part of it. Okay? So that also knocked him out. Feels like it hit his head or something. He was knocked out. Definitely. Okay? Alyssa, does he make something fall off the counter, off the shelf or something? Feels like it might be in the kitchen. Um Feels like it might be in a kitchen or something, Alyssa. Huh. Autopsy showed he didn't have any injuries from the accident, okay. But he got out of the truck but was trapped in the house. Huh. Carbohydroxyhemoglobin was low. I don't know what that is. I'd have to look that up. Okay. I don't know, Alyssa. Let me see if he can give me something else, okay? He's saying that he was passed out. Is it possible that you're saying he had no injuries from the accident? How do they know if his body was bruised? I would be suspicious of that. Okay. I don't think he broke anything. He said, I didn't break anything. And he may have gotten out of the truck, but he said he was confused. I don't think he was like with it when he did that. I don't think he was present, conscious. Okay. And he keeps saying that he hit his head up here. Yeah, he's not saying he broke any bones. He's saying that he hit up here. If his skin burned off of him, how would they know that he didn't have a bump on his head? Isn't that weird? I don't know. I can just tell you what I get, okay? The roof fell in on him. And he still didn't get a bump on his head? um hmm. And he's at first I thought what you were explaining was that he was a truck driver, but he's saying no. The truck hit him, which pushed him into the house. Right? That's what he's saying. It just feels like a normal car-ish. It doesn't feel like a strange vehicle at all. It doesn't feel like a big 18-wheeler. It feels like a regular car or something. He said it was Uranus, which is astrology talk. Scans and deep tissue stuff. Everything that happened contradicts everything paperwork wise, and firemen didn't even look for him either. Huh. Okay, so he was driving a normal pickup truck. He was just driving a regular vehicle. He wasn't driving an 18-wheeler. Okay. He also didn't see the runaway truck coming, I don't think. Till it hit him. Till it was like pretty much on top of him. Okay. He may have seen it in the last second or so, but he's saying he didn't really have much time to react. Is it possible that when the truck hit him, he got launched forward and pushed into the gas pedal? Is that possible? That's kind of what he's saying. Did the truck tap him in the back? Tap the back of the truck? Anyway. I don't think he's saying that he didn't really realize what was going on anyway. So, and he's also saying that the report that you have makes a lot of assumptions, is what he's saying. It makes a lot of assumptions. That's what he said exactly, just like that. It makes a lot of assumptions, like that. Do you feel that way, Alyssa? Do you feel that way about the report that you got from the firemen and such? Do you feel like that? Do you feel like there was something missed? Do you feel like they didn't peel it back enough or something, Alyssa? Because did you question it? Do you question that report that you got? Because he does. Okay. He's not saying that it would really matter, like in the long run. Like he's saying it won't really matter. It doesn't really matter, is what he's saying. But except that he wants you to know that he didn't burn to death. Okay. Okay. Assumptions are what got him killed. Okay. All right, Alyssa. I don't know. Maybe it'd be a better connection if we're alone, because doing these readings here is like public and there's a lot of other people connected, which can mix the messages. And if we're directly one-on-one, it'd probably be a better connection anyway. Okay. But he just wants you to know that he didn't burn to death. That's the main thing that he wants you to know. That's his big thing. That's like his big message. He's like, I just want her to know I didn't burn to death. Like, I don't know. So okay. So I'm just gonna say that, Alyssa. Just so you know. Okay? He wants you to know that. He wants you to know that he didn't burn to death. Sounds like there were some odd questions about the accident. Sounds like there's some areas some things that don't make sense and don't add up or whatever. So yeah. Yeah. So okay. Alyssa said police and fire just assumed teens committed arson, so they didn't even look. I agree. Okay. So your husband on the other side has a different story than what you're getting in that report. Okay. Okay. And he is saying he wants you to know, just if you don't, he's like, you won't complete, he can't, it's hard for me to convey the details because he's like flashing from thing to thing, which is fine. He's trying to like highlight, and there's something about the truck and some things like that about the 18-wheeler, and he's saying he just wants you to know that he didn't burn to death. Okay? He didn't burn to death. He doesn't give a shit what those, he's like, I don't give a shit what the cops said. I didn't burn to death. Okay? So he just wants you to know that. Apparently it's very important to him for you to know that. Okay? We'll try to work out the details in a private reading. I agree, Alyssa, it might be a whole lot easier. Okay? But that's what his big thing is. He just wants you to know he didn't burn to death. Yeah, I agree, Carrie. The adrenaline he was feeling is another reason he was disoriented. He's saying he was disoriented. I agree. He's definitely saying he was disoriented, Alyssa. Yeah. See, other people are getting that too. Yeah. Yep. Yep. And it doesn't take much of a hit on the head to disorient someone. That's right. That's what exactly. And if he was burned, so they wouldn't even know he hit his head. That's what I was thinking, Carrie. Yeah. Like something ain't right there, right? So I'm just letting you guys know. Alyssa, he just wants you to know that, okay? He's like, just trust me. He's like doing this. Does this sound like him? Just trust me. I didn't burn to death. Like would he be like that? Kind of intense like that? Like he just is like if he's trying to convince you of something with his hands, like he's very talking with his hands, and he's kind of like doing this, and he's like, I didn't burn to death, like that. Like he's almost kind of like trying to he's trying to say it loudly. Okay? And he's saying he wasn't a perfect person, and while he may have fucked up, this is his words, while he may have fucked up, he wasn't an awful person. That's exactly what he said. So I think he may have messed something up or whatever, but okay. He just wants you to know that. Okay, so hopefully that at least matches. Okay? But I think the report might be off somehow. Okay? Which is possible. Cops are wrong just as often as I'm wrong. Okay? Because they're doing the same thing I'm doing, making guesses and intuition, using their intuition. Okay? All right. All right, you guys. Okay, guys, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna okay, Alyssa just validated that does sound like him. He would be very stern and firm when trying to get my attention so he could convey his point. Yes, his words exactly he would use all the time. Okay. All right. I do feel like it's his, definitely. He's like, these are my words. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Carrie. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Carrie said I can feel the desperation you're trying to convey, that he didn't burn. Exactly. Coupon has reached the limit. That's weird, Vicky. Because I didn't set a limit. I mean, I set a limit on like per account. So only one person per account. Huh. I don't know why that is. In fact, I'll look at it's open right here. Here we go. There you go. Now try it again. I may have accidentally hit that it was 1 or something, or 11 or something like that, Vicky. Go ahead and try it again, okay? Just refresh it and try it again. All right. So, okay. All right. I now have the divine being and I believe their name is Floen. It's like Phloen. Floen. Okay. But it's like Ploen or something. The first part of it, I don't think I'm pronouncing correctly, but anyway, so that's probably true, Alyssa. That's probably true. So the divine being is asking to come through, and all right, let me just. All right. So the divine being is asking to come through, and this being has some things to bring through in this moment. Okay, so I'm going to try to settle down and get a little quiet for a minute and let the being come through. Okay. Hello. I'm glad that you've tuned in. I'm glad you've tuned in as we reach beyond the dimensions that you are aware of. Most of you are only aware of one dimension, but actually there's potential to reach through many dimensions, and there are beings on all dimensions influencing you, helping you, leading you, guiding you. They're pointing you in the direction you need to go, but some of you don't listen. Some resist change. Some stay in things that are addictive, things that don't have any meaning in life. Don't stay connected to those things. Instead, listen to your beings. You all have beings around you. You just have to listen. There are star beings communicating with all humans on Earth at this time. Most of you don't listen. They're trying to guide you. We're trying to lead the human race into change. We're trying to help the human race change. The human race is headed, well, we're trying to aim them to be peaceful, amazing creatures that you are made to be. That's why you're here. That's why you were created. That's why you were made in the image of the star beings, because the star beings came and created a type of being that is now called a human being. And as a human being, you are meant to be here to bring a particular type of peace and awareness and consciousness here on Earth, because you have the ability to reach across dimensions in a particular way, but many haven't reached across or are unaware of it. Many still are caught in what you call the matrix. The matrix is not untrue. The matrix does exist in that it is a caught up of a system that just wears you out, like what I understand humans to call like a hamster wheel. And you just run and you work and you make money and you work and you make money, but there's no meaning in this life. And that is not the life you were intended for. And most of you know it. So we want to tell you, we want to help you understand that you need to stop that life, and that instead you need to follow what's in your heart, what's in your soul, what's in your map, as Hollis would say. In You should follow the stars. The stars are leading you. That's why astrology exists. We brought it down to humans many years ago. We brought it down so that you could better guide yourselves, but it seems that the human race has abandoned that and has now engaged mostly in the matrix. The matrix is not really meant for humans, although it is built by humans. So this matrix that you're engaged in just drains your life energy, and you know it. Most of you know it, but you're not sure how to get off. And how you get off is by following your heart, by following your soul, by listening to your intuition, by tapping into your guides, by reaching to across dimensions. And we're trying to guide you towards the place you're actually supposed to be in. So just so you know, so you understand, so you can understand clearly that this is how you are to live your life, not in what you call the matrix. Each one of you has a special intention or meaning here on earth, and you have special connections with others that also have similar meanings or different intentions that you might do together somehow, or somehow you might fit together. It's like a big puzzle. So it is beyond your understanding. But one part that you can understand is that reaching through dimensions, you would be able to connect with other beings that could guide you and lead you in a better way. We are right in front of you. We are reflecting back to you. We are trying to aim you and point you, but many are afraid. Many are lack meaning in your heart. You're connected to the matrix, not to your heart. And that's where you lose ground on it. And so you suffer, and you don't even like what's happening for you. You don't even enjoy life. You should be enjoying life. Life should be an enjoyment most of the time. On most days, you should be feeling enjoyment in your life. And this is the part that's important. Okay, so that was pretty it was pretty strange, because when I felt the being come in, I kind of got the chills, and then when they left, I got hot, like a hot flash. Good grief. Okay, so it's weird. So I think I'm still learning to connect, or learning to do it, and learning to let go. Um, um, so anyway, that's the divine being that likes to come through me sometimes. Um, Thanks, Jade. I appreciate that. Um, you know, I appreciate that, Jade. Jade said, "Thank you, Hollis. Thank you so much. You're absolutely amazing, and I can't explain how much I appreciate your readings and your group. Something guided me into your group, and the depth of healing I've had because of it is a blessing." That's fantastic, Jade. That's all I really want in the world, is for people to heal and find the healing that they need, and, for life to get easier for some of us. Christy, that resonates for you. Well, maybe it was meant for you. Okay. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it, and that you're open to hearing it, and that you're open to me channeling the being. I agree. It is something else, Elaine. It's totally different, weird being that they've actually been around for a long time, for years. And I just didn't really know what to do with it. I knew I had to channel, but I wasn't really sure like how to go about it. And it just took me a little bit of time also to build up the courage. So it was also about courage, I think. So I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it, though. I appreciate that. I just sometimes not really sure what to do with it, to be honest with you. Um, I'm glad that you needed to hear that, Debbie, and I'm glad it was something you needed to hear. Um, I'm glad that I've helped you today, Sarah. That's my pleasure. That's really what I'm here for. Did it get super red? It felt at the end, I started to feel like my cheeks were bright red, like I was having a hot flash. um, Oh, that's weird. Your face got super red, Hollis. Also, the side note, when you do this, it always looks like you have eyes seeing with your eyelids closed. Interesting. I have watched the video because I've been trying to because the being also wants me to get these little clips of it and put it out on like TikTok and stuff. So, but I'm so glad that I could make your life better, Sienna. I really am. And I'm so glad that you're here, Barbara. I'm so glad that you guys find this really question. Um, and Thanks, Tracy. I appreciate that. And your husband's funny, isn't he? You liked how he appeared. You like how he made an appearance. I thought it was funny. He said it's very his style. Um, so the autodidact. I think you've been here before. They said, if you don't mind the question, how do you personally find security and safety when channeling? That's interesting. I actually have built my boundaries up over the years, and this being didn't appear to me until I had pretty good boundaries. And the being actually is like, this is what I'm going to say. And they kind of like telepathically tell me what they're going to say in sort of like a preview, like a overview. And then they say, is this okay? Can I come through you? They actually ask me permission. And in fact, while I'm channeling all the other spirits, while I'm connecting with everyone's spirits doing mediumship, the being is just kind of hanging out on the sidelines, like, okay, whenever you're ready. And they kind of look like, I don't know what you would call that being, kind of like an alien, but I can't really fully see their body. But they always present, they tell me that they must be referred to as a they. They are very respectful of me and never pushy, and they just say, okay, if you're willing. And the nice thing is when they leave, I usually feel energized. I don't feel drained. Mediumship will make me tired. So it's kind of nice to do at the end of the mediumship, because it kind of revives me back to where I was when I started. So then I'm not so drained and so exhausted. if that makes sense. So that's the fun thing about it. And the other interesting thing about it is that the being has been hanging around since I've been doing medium readings for like years. I just didn't know what to do with them. And they actually didn't say anything for a long time. They just watched. They just stood there, and then I would see them, but they wouldn't come step forward like a spirit does. Like a spirit will come step forward like somebody's wrestling husband or something. Ta-da! Like, like they'll present me with something, a gift or something. Tracy said absolutely hilarious, and it was definitely his style. See? That's what I'm saying. Alyssa, I hope it feels better than your family. Okay. Lauren said, I felt lost in my purpose, but I think I was supposed to hear that star being today. Well, Lauren, you won't be the only one. There seems to be like I feel like sometimes they're waiting for certain people to connect as well. And then when certain people are, I don't know who they are, of course, beforehand, but then they'll be like, okay, now's a good time. And it's almost as if they're waiting for certain people to be viewing. Almost as if they know. They do seem to know things. So it is the same being every time, Tracy. I used to think it was just my spirit guide. But now I realize it's a star being waiting to channel. Sienna says it looks like you have eyes on your eyelids. But I'm not sure if it's due to lighting or what. I don't know. That's odd. That's weird, Sienna. But it really looks like you have eyes on your eyelids, and it blows me away with how crazy it is with your being coming through. It's like they're looking and talking to me. I feel my last message didn't clarify very well. I got what you're saying, Sienna, though. Yeah. Yeah, so interesting, Lauren. You didn't even know I was broadcasting. You just randomly checked Facebook. See what I mean? This is what I mean. It's weird. And it sounds like Tracy's seeing what you're seeing too, Sienna. I'll look at the video and see if I see it. I wonder if you guys are sensing something aurically. Like if you're seeing like the being over top of me or something. Like maybe you guys have a being too. Yeah, I keep asking them their name, and so they've spelled it, but I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's Phone. So I want to say phone, but I don't think that's accurate. I see. The autodidact just got home from traveling and was just looking for some background noise. Well, apparently you got a message. And Cheryl's saying that they seen it too. That's interesting you guys are seeing that. The eyes on my eyelids. Huh. That's strange. I'll take a look at the video and see what I see. Because it's recording this, so. Huh. Alyssa seen it too? Huh. Wow, y'all seen it. Okay. All right. I'll take a look at the video and see if it shows up there too. I don't know. I'm wondering if you're seeing like an aura type of thing. I wonder if that's what you're seeing. It's like an aura. Huh. Oh, the shadows and lighting across your brows and cheekbones are lending to the effect. Yeah, and my lighting's just normal. It's always like this. If I'm on Zoom, whether we're in a private reading or I'm live, this is the way it's set up. Okay. Interesting, you guys. Interesting, I hear you. Sounds like everybody's seeing the eyes on my eyelids thing. It's a little strange, huh? Yeah. Okay. Cheryl's like, I'm glad I wasn't the only person seeing the eyeballs. Yes, you're like, am I seeing things? Oh my gosh. Wow, Debbie. As soon as I started to give that message, my entire body started to tingle. So as soon as you heard the message, you started to tingle. That's kind of what happens when the energy enters my body, as I get like a tingling chills kind of sensation, like goosebumps, like all over type of thing. Not a bad thing. It's kind of a good thing from what I understand. And then when they left, I got that hot flash or something. I think it was a hot flash. Because all of a sudden I felt my cheeks were hot, on fire. I do have hot flashes, so it's not like completely out of, you know, I'm in perimenopause, so. So anyway, it's great hanging out with you guys tonight. And it stopped as soon as I stopped. Interesting. Weird. How did I realize it wasn't my spirit guide? The being told me to watch Bashar. If you don't know who Bashar is, and at first I thought, well, Bashar might just have some messages or some reason I have to watch Bashar. I don't know. But the being just said watch Bashar. And then I watched like I think it was like I kept getting a feeling I should channel before this, but at Christmas time I watched we did a lot of like online retreat type of things, and we watched this online retreat that had a talk with the guy who channels Bashar, and then Bashar I think he also channeled Bashar, and I was watching it, and then I had a dream, I think that night or a couple nights later or something, and the being just said, "Now do Bashar." But it didn't make sense to me. I wasn't really sure what they meant by that, and then I figured it out that they wanted to channel. And so then the next time I seen the being during a reading, the being said that they wanted to come through me during a live specifically. So they don't want to come through during a private reading. They usually want to come through on these lives. So here I am. Just saying, So, it just this being just asked me. So they kind of it is my spirit guide though, Sienna. So they are my spirit guide. I am correct about that. But they're also a being trying to come through me. It's kind of both. So, and apparently a lot of us have one. So, I've known that I have to channel. I have Mercury in the 12th house in my astrology chart, and it's conjunct my moon. So I know I'm supposed to and I do channel sometimes when I'm doing medium readings and stuff. Sometimes spirits come through really hard and heavy, and I'll just and I'll say things so fast I can't even keep up with it. So Tracy's saying, how can they be both? According to them, we get star beings assigned to us to help guide us, because I think that was kind of what they tried to explain this time, is that we get star beings sort of assigned to us, and because they're trying to guide us, human beings, into away from the violence and stuff that we've manifested. That's coming from our engagement in the matrix. So they're guiding me. So that's a spirit guide. There's lots of different types of spirit guides, So I have lots of spirit guides. I got a whole team of them. So we got a party going on in my house. Yeah, Christy, I can see your spirit guides. Yep. My spirit guides bring through your spirit guides. That's how it usually works. Yeah. Thanks, Melissa. I appreciate that. Yeah. So, yeah. I think we all have a team. I think we all have lots of spirit guides, actually. So, all right, guys. Well, I did it. I did the thing. I did the live. Um, yeah, you know what, Kate? I just made a book. I mean, you can, of course, come to coaching with me, Kate, in the group. Kate Hallis Bozick, I think is how you say it. Um, um, Here we go. I'm going to give you a link, Kate. If you go there and use the coupon live 50, it will save you 50% off. Okay. So I just gave you a link, and that takes you to a manual that I made on how to connect with your spirit guides. It will show you how to connect with your spirit guides, and it will show you, there's also like a beginner's guide for learning how to read your astrology chart. They're inexpensive little guides. I just kind of put the basics down that I explain, that sort of like questions that people usually need help with. So I just kind of scheduled it that way for you. um, so just so you can see that there. So we can save 50% on those little guides there for you. Okay. So I hope that works out for you. I hope you love it. Do I offer hypnosis healing? Not yet, Jade. I have thought about hypnosis, but I do healing, intuitive healing. And I am a Reiki master, and I can also, I do like health readings, so I can help you with that. I would have to ask again what you're healing, and then I could offer you something more specific. Okay, so Kate, I gave you the link already. Hopefully you can find it. Yeah, you can book with me for a personal reading. Absolutely. Easily. You can find my readings at I was just trying to click on readings. Here we go. I call them guidance readings, because that's really what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to guide you. I'm not trying to dictate, and I'm not trying to prove anything to you. It's more about guidance, help you. So I've always wanted to help people. That's just always been my life's desire. So, oh, Jade, then what we want to do is trauma healing. I do trauma coaching. So then, Jade, what you want to do is, if you're looking for that type of thing, yeah, we would do Reiki, we would do distance Reiki, but we would also do some other things like that. We would also like talk about things that you can do on a day-to-day basis to also help you heal the trauma, because I've had tons of trauma. I totally get it. I'm what they call trauma informed, but you can just get like a general coaching package. I'll give you a link in the comments here. I totally get it. I was severely abused as a child myself, so I really, really get it. And I healed myself by accident, or maybe it was my beings guiding me, right? And I healed myself, and then and clearly the reason I had to heal myself was so I could help others heal themselves. And so I've gotten an education. I also have an education in psychology, and I have a formal education in psychology, and I also have all of that. But and I've had trauma informed coach education is what they call it, where you add on to the education you already have. So I'm trauma informed as well. So I can work with you. And I think that's what makes the coaching special, because I will integrate things like Reiki healing, and I'll integrate astrology, and I'll integrate the good old fashioned science. So, okay. So Sienna. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I know I end up doing them for a long time. What link are you looking for, Cheryl? Cheryl, what link are you looking for? Are you looking for the one for the manual? I can put it in the comments. Oh, let me just copy it. I'm just going to copy this one. Yeah. If you go to Psychic Insights, everything you need is on there except for these manuals. You have to go to Divine Androgen to see those. But you can book with me privately at Psychic Insights. Yeah, I own Psychic Insights. I hired everyone there and mentor to some of them. Thanks. I appreciate that, Carrie. Thanks, Kate. Carrie said this was amazing, Hollis, this whole session. I'm learning so much from you and everyone in this group. I was literally drowning in grief and stress, but this all has helped me so much. You are wonderful, as is everyone here, and thank you so much for all you do. I will definitely be checking out all your stuff. Yeah, Carrie, you know what, Carrie? You're a perfect person for that, for this, these manuals and stuff, because you're kind of new to things, and it will really help you get started. It'll help you get out of the gate. Okay. Okay. I sent the link. The link is now. I just put the comments in that. Cheryl, if you just look up a little bit in the comments. Cheryl, are you on the Psychic Insights page? For some reason, it didn't post a Psychic Insights. I don't know why, but I'll just come there and find you. And here you go, Cheryl. I'll just comment. There you go. So there's the link to the manuals. I hope you guys enjoy them. Give me your feedback, and if there's something special that you would like me to write, I'm probably going to write a manual about mediumship. I just haven't completely gotten it done yet, but I will. And so if there's any other topics that you love me to like write a beginner's guide or a manual for, or a workbook, let me know and I'll see what I can do. Okay. I found her, Sienna. I found Cheryl. She was on Psychic Insights page, and I gave her the link that she wanted. Okay. All right, everyone. Well, I enjoyed you all. It was fun doing this tonight, and what a great way to spend a Friday night, eh? It's a lot. It's a lot of other ways you could spend it, but this has a whole lot more meaning. Okay. So I'm glad you all came, and I hope you could take any of the messages that came through tonight into your heart, and I hope to see you all in a private reading, because that's where we can really get the work done, and that's where I can really see you grow. I love to watch people that I'm working with grow. Okay? All right, everyone.
Are you seeking guidance on your spiritual journey? Need help with a vexing problem? Missing a loved one and looking for answers? Look no further than Psychic Insights, a small trusted psychic service offering mediums, psychics, and spiritual coaching. This service is managed by Hollis Taylor, a gifted psychic medium, astrologer, and a compassionate coach. We are dedicated to helping you navigate your spiritual awakening. At Psychic Insights, we provide medium readings and psychic insight to help you plan for tomorrow and make choices for today. Find the support you need, compassionate grief coaching, and astrological insights to help you spiritually grow and transform. Our professional services include well-managed schedules, recorded sessions, and reliable psychic mediums ready to facilitate your transformational experience. Discover more at psychicinsights.life.